Welcome. You're listening to How I Did That, a storytelling podcast. Let's jump into today's episode.
Hi everyone, you're tuning in to Birds, Donuts, and Everything in Between. I'm your host Neha, and in this podcast, I interview a different guest every episode to share their story. Today's guest is an aspiring educator with a degree in mathematics and a minor in French studies. She's going to be talking with us today to share her journey through the last 4 years, as well as moving forward and going to Teachers College to become a math teacher.
All right, hi guys, my name's Andrea Ciavaglia. I just completed my undergraduate degree at the University of Windsor in mathematics. This September I'll be starting my Bachelor of Education, and I'm really excited to do so.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Andrea.
Yeah, no problem.
So, let's go back to high school. Like, when you were in high school, did you know what you wanted to do in university?
Yeah, so I actually knew for like a long time what I wanted to be, and I think in high school it just kind of amplified, solidified my decision to be a teacher and to study math, specifically in grade 10.
What about teaching drew you in?
So when I was in, grade 1.
Grade 1?
It sounds so weird. Like when I was in grade 1, JK and SK don't really count just because, you don't really do, you learn, but it's not like a true classroom environment, I guess. But I used to feel in the classroom, I'm like, oh my gosh, teachers, it sounds, when I was a kid, my reason for being a teacher was, it was,
But you just really looked up to teachers.
Yeah, at first I'm like, oh my gosh, they use the chalkboard. So I want to be a teacher to use the chalkboard, And that was kind of my thing, when I was really young. And then I really kind of knew the meaning of what a teacher did during high school. And that's where it really is from here kids go to university, and this is where they maybe have an idea of what they want to do. And then they'll go on, and from what you've taught them, that will inspire them to go and, pursue something that they're interested in.
Okay. Aside from being a teacher, did you know, because you go to Teachers College, right, to become a teacher, but what about, you did a degree in math. So did you know, I want to be a math teacher and I want to do this mathematics degree and then go on to Teachers College? Or can people go to being in Teachers College, straight out of high school?
I think so. To answer the second question, you can go into Teachers College right after high school. It's called concurrent education program. So it's a 5-year program, and you'll be getting a general degree in, you can do English, French, math, whatever, while also getting your Bachelor's of Education. But to answer the other question, I actually wanted to be a French teacher first, because my French teacher in grade 4, I really liked her, and she was really friendly, and she, made me really like French. And I was like, oh, I really want to do that. So when I got to high school, I knew I wanted to be a French teacher, but I also knew that to teach in high school, you needed to have 2 teachable subjects. And I was kind of always looking for something else to teach. And in grade 10, I had been in this class with my math teacher, and I had done really well, and the guidance counselor was like, oh, you should, you've done really well, you should just do your other teachable in math. And I said, oh, okay. And that's just,
You said you have to have 2 teachables to become a high school teacher, but for people who go straight out of high school to Teachers College, do they just learn those teachables there? They don't need to have a previous degree of more than one subject, if that makes sense?
Are you talking about if they go the concurrent route?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the concurrent route, you'll go right from high school into, I think I don't know exactly how it works, but I think you'll be taking some education courses and some courses in, like, for example, if you're doing English, you'll have English courses. So you'll have enough English courses to get a general degree, and then enough courses in practicum to get your B.Ed. But when I was in elementary school, like, math was like, it was like whatever to me. Same in grade 9, but then in grade 10, like, the teacher I had, like, she made me see, like, if I worked hard, I could, you know, be really good in math or do really well in math. And then I saw how well I did in my class. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I want to do well again in grade 11. So I really like that. And then French, like, as I went on, I just, I don't know how to say it, except I wasn't really vibing with it anymore.
I mean, you were in my French classes. I remember that.
Yeah. I started enjoying math more. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was like, okay, like, I really want to teach math. And math, to me, like, you're either, like, right or wrong. Like, this is the solution or this is not the solution. When you're, like, learning a language, it's like, oh, well, I might think or just, like, analyze this paragraph as this, but the teacher might think this, and then you're wrong. But what if my thing is right? You know?
Even the thing like with English or essay writing and stuff, or just critical thinking about, like, English passages or stories, there's a lot of different ways you can analyze something. But even when it comes to learning a language itself, one language, like, say, French, people around the world in different regions speak French in a different way. So you might learn it one way, and in another way it's wrong. Like, in another country or area, it might be incorrect. And so it's not like a right or wrong answer with languages, like, in speaking them or analyzing, like, but I understand what you mean. It's like, I find languages to be a lot more difficult than a math or a science course. And there's other people who are like, oh, I catch on to languages so easily. I'm like, you have rules. There's always exceptions.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. So then, in your math degree, what kind of courses did you take in high school for somebody who wants to be, like, doing a math major?
Okay, so like, are we saying, like, oh, like, are we describing where we live?
I know what you mean. Okay.
Because it depends on, like, where, because, like, for us, like, you have to take a math course up until grade 11, right?
You're right.
You have to take some kind of math. So, I mean, I guess for a lot of Canadian Canadian high schools, it might be like that. In America,
okay. I mean, I don't know. You have AP and IB courses in other places, and we didn't.
Right. Okay.
But in general, like, what would you recommend somebody to take?
I would say so try to take a math course every year. At our school, at our high school we went to, math in grade 12 was your decision if you wanted to take it. And I believe the courses offered were advanced functions, calculus and vectors, and then there was that one stat one.
Yeah, there was
Jemmy. Did you take it?
I never did.
Data? I didn't take it either.
It was like data something.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
I like that.
But yeah, it was math related. Was there another one?
I don't know.
There was a computer course. But yeah, did you take, so you didn't take that math statistics course?
Data analysis?
Oh, maybe it was data analysis.
Is that it?
I don't know.
No, I didn't take it. Everyone said it was a lot of calculator work, and I don't think I was like, interested.
Okay.
I liked that pure, like, calculus math.
Yeah. So you just
pure math.
9th, 10th, like 9th grade, 10th grade math, 11th grade, here we call it, like, functions, and then 12th grade here we call it advanced functions, right? And then calculus and vectors in 12th grade. I think most of the Canadian high schools have a pretty similar curriculum. I don't know how it is in the States.
I know at least Ontario does.
Yeah, at least Ontario.
It's the same one.
So, did you switch majors? Like, were you always in math? Because I feel like you switched.
Yeah, so I went in to do, like, a bachelor's of arts and science, which is pretty much just, like, a fancy term for, like, you're studying an art and a science. So I was doing, like, a double major of math and French with that title. Then I switched to just, like, a bachelor's of mathematics and French studies, just without the bachelor's of arts and science title. Just because with bachelor's of arts and science, you had to take these Western civilization courses like, just at least introduction to ethics courses for Aristotle. I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
So I switched into that. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? I did my undergraduate took me 5 years instead of 4. And
some of the courses you took in your first year were like transferable.
Yeah. So, well, I don't want to, say like this person didn't help me, but I think, when you're in your first year, you really, like, hindsight, you really have to go out and ask questions, and because, it's new for you. So then I was taking French courses, and I knew I had to stay an extra year, because when you do a double major, where for like 2 things, you don't take as many. So when I was doing math and French, I wouldn't have taken as many math courses, I believe, as someone who was just doing a math major by itself. So I'm like, you know what? If I have to stay an extra year, I'm not gonna just take French courses and be miserable because I don't really like it. So then I switched to just math, and I did my minor in French. Well, I have enough for it to be teachable, and then I finished.
So in math, like if I were to go into doing a math major, like what do you say I should expect to take in my first, second, third, fourth year, like the main core courses?
Okay, so in your first year, you're probably going to take linear algebra and calculus. From high school, in terms of calculus, the only new thing will be integrals, which is fun. So that's new, and then you get introduced to doing proofs, which is a huge thing in math.
Like right from second year?
Pardon me?
Right from second year?
Proofs start in first year. They start in the winter semester.
Nice.
Yeah, that's like your introduction to proofs, and because you don't really, in high school, the only proofs you see are trigonometric identities, which aren't really proofs. And, you kind of are like, this isn't math. You're like, why am I doing this? I don't want to be doing this. I hate proofs. But, that's how, like, theorems are.
That's how theorems are formed. That's
formed and shown true. Yeah, and then I just remembered also in first year, math majors are required to take 2, they're called Introduction to Algorithms and Programming. There's part 1 and part 2, you have to take them.
Oh, you have to programming? Like, was that math?
Yeah. It was C, programming in C.
Interesting.
It was, again, you're kind of like, why am I taking this? Just to get the credit and move on.
So then moving to second year, like, so now you've knocked out like differential calculus and integral calculus, and like you started on proofs, you had to take C programming. Did you take stats first year? Oh, and linear algebra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stats. So if you're just doing bachelor's of mathematics, you just have to take the 2 introductory stats and probability courses, which are offered in second year, which they're pretty good. You start off with mean and median, which is everyone's kind of sitting there like it's a bore. Right. But then you get into more in-depth things. So those classes weren't too bad. But I believe if you're doing bachelor's of mathematics and statistics, you'll take I think it's just called is it just called probability? I'm not sure, but there's actual courses like that aren't the introductory courses that are offered if you do those.
Oh, okay. And then in second year, did you take vector calculus? Because I know we had to.
Oh yes. So in second year you take vector calculus and differential equations. Okay. Along with
vector calculus was really I found like that was the most abstract course I've ever taken. Like I had no idea.
Like double integrals, right? And triple integrals?
Yeah, but aside from that, there was parametric functions and like
so long ago.
The abstract things, aside from like the integral part of it. So I found that I was like, I really don't know where I'm going to ever use this. Aside from like being in like engineering wise, I don't know where I'm going to ever use this. But yeah.
I think DE or like differential equations.
I liked differential equations. And
you could kind of see where it was used. So for third year we still had some mandatory courses. So there was these 2 courses. There's a fall and a winter, introduction to analysis 1 and 2.
That's so big.
I know. So the only way I can describe these courses is that it's pretty much you're going through anything you know about math. So I can only remember stuff from analysis 2 because that's the most recent one. But we learned like we learned about the theorem of, for example, the product rule when you're doing derivatives, and then we proved it. Or
so these
what's
are
the other
classes
one?
that are just based on proofs.
Yeah, so the higher up you get, the more proof-based they become. Not always, like some of them are computational and there's no proofs in 3,000 level courses and above, but they do, become more proof heavy.
So aside from the analysis courses, what else would you take that year and the year after?
So that year is it's like the notorious math course. It's called abstract algebra. So at our school, for any what are they called? Courses that you must take, mandatory, compulsory courses. You have to achieve a 60% to pass the course and to get the credit. So abstract algebra, proof-based course, no computations whatsoever, and it's hard, right? Because it's very, as you can guess, abstract ideas. So, and it's just a stressful time. Like the first test, like I failed it. I'll admit I failed it. And but the second test, I got an 80, and like I was so happy. But yeah, I was lucky. Like I had like friends, and we would work together. And the prof was really nice. He let us, after the first assignment, he let us do group assignments. And but this prof also didn't believe in curving marks. I think he gave us 1 extra %, but I don't know. I don't want to take it again. And it wasn't like he was always available for help if you wanted to ask help. But like he knew it was hard.
Yeah.
He knew it was hard. And like I did all the homework, I did the practice questions, I did all this stuff, I tried so hard. But I think just for that first test, like I was just so nervous. I knew, oh my gosh, like I need to do really well on this. And you get so nervous you don't think straight.
Yeah.
So, but I got my credit. And then I think the last mandatory course we needed to take was complex variables, which was a pretty straightforward course.
Okay, and this was the third year.
Yeah, that was actually, I think those were the last other, like after you had taken those courses, everything else was up to you. It just had to be a math or stat 3,000 and above.
Do you get to specialize like specific stream with math?
You might. I think you might. I never did. I never looked into it.
Okay.
Just because I knew I wanted to go with teaching. So.
No, because like for us, when you were in our degree, you had to choose one of the 3 paths. So like you would take courses from those paths. You would take courses from the stream you chose in your senior year. Like 1 or 2 related courses. Like if you chose the stream, we only had 3 streams, but say you chose like the bio stream, you would take a couple more bio courses in your senior year, like biochemistry or something.
Oh, okay. With
the actual degree, but you would just specialize in those. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if math was like that, but
I think there are.
Maybe.
But there probably is.
So then in your 4th year, it was all basically electives?
Yeah, so I started to take some electives in my 3rd year as well. The 4th year was mainly, I chose everything I wanted to take.
So then what kind of what areas of mathematics do they offer electives in?
So there's, just to name some of the ones I did a class called linear programming, and then the second part of it is called nonlinear optimization.
What is that? Is it based on C?
So that stuff, I think you can do stuff in the computer. For nonlinear, we had to do, our final assignment was a MATLAB, which throughout my whole math degree, I'd never used MATLAB. But we did the squares problems, normal equations, Boyden's method, steepest descent method, for optimization to find the min of the max of a certain system. And then, so non-linear would have been quadratics, cubed, and above, and then linear programming is just for...
Oh, I see.
linear equations.
So in your 4th year, you were saying that
I took number theory. Numerical methods. Pretty simple. A lot of stuff from, linear algebra 1 and 2. Very computational. If you had to know a proof, she would tell you it's going to be one of these 3. If you don't understand it, you just memorize it. I took measure theory and integration. There was a bit of computation, but it was like computational proofs. Like it was mainly proofs, similar to analysis, where it's, very theoretical ideas. Usually math majors, you can go into stats. A lot of people go into actuaries, which is, I'm pretty sure, calculating insurance. I took that. So you take theory of interest. You take theory of interest in the fall, because I'm like, you know what? I was hearing a lot of stuff with teachers and how there's a lot of stuff going on. They were striking or things like that. And I was like, you know what? I better have a backup. Maybe I should take some actuaries courses. So I took theory of interest. And so you learn about like compound interest and simple interest and stocks and bonds and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And with the more I did it, I'm like, okay, the second semester, the actuary 1 course was a 7 to 10, and I'm like, I don't like it that much to take a 7 to 10 course. So I'm like, I don't really want to calculate life insurance, find out how much your policy should be. I'm not interested. So I just took theory of interest. So that's like another path people go as they become actuaries. You have to take some kind of tests.
Exactly. What do they do? Like other than calculating people's life insurance, which is very specific.
I'm pretty sure they just calculate insurance rates. Oh, if I'm putting it really generally.
Did we finish all the courses you took in your senior year?
I took that. So in the fall I would have taken. Oh, there's one I missed. It's called stochastic. So in stochastic, you learn about like queuing and like simulation, making decisions. So you have like these decision trees and the probability. So you have like some kind of decision, and then okay, you can have this and this, and these 2 ends of your decision can have this many probability, and then you have more decisions, and then you would see, okay, I'd make which path and make the most money. Or in terms of queuing, you would say, okay, how many cashiers do I need open to have this kind of flow going on, sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, when you graduated, like what are the main like career fields that people like graduating with your degree can go into aside from teaching?
Okay.
Aside from actuarial sciences.
Okay. So there's those. I think some people will go on and do a master's, or just advance their education. I think I've seen some people go and work for Statistics Canada, I think.
So you could be a statistician.
I think that's it, though. You either be an actuary, you continue education, Stats Canada, or teaching. Teaching being like, I don't want to say teaching's frowned upon in math, but this is kind of like a side note, but I was waiting for a class to start, and a prof came up to me. He's like, "Oh, are you graduating this year?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he's like, "Oh, because these people from Willis Thomas Watson, I think, were coming in, and he wanted people to go to the presentation." And I said, "Oh, I'm going to Teachers College." And he's kind of like, "You're going to Teachers College?" He's like, he's like, it's like they don't want you to go there. Like, oh, you're like my. And this has happened more than once. Someone else was like, oh, like my friend's been on the supply list for 9 years.
I mean, even if everybody that I've talked to has had a negative experience, I've only heard this from 2 or 3 people, so.
Yeah. So.
That's like disheartening. When your professors, you're going into Teachers College.
It's like, sorry, I'm not going into your actuary. I don't want to go into something I'm not interested in.
True.
I want to do this my whole entire life.
Right out of university, so you're saying there's not usually many jobs like with just a math degree. It's either like get higher education, you can like become an accountant or whatever other things you can do that get into research, I guess. What else do you do like with higher education?
I don't know. I was at the University of Windsor. The actuary is really popular. Becoming an actuary is really popular. I think there's a business and math stream, which I guess is smart.
Do a lot
and
of
then
to like finance and like business finance related jobs with
math?
Yeah.
Economics
maybe.
Not anyone that I know of. Actually, there was one kid in one of my classes that was an economics major, but he was just in one class. I'd never seen him before.
Oh, okay.
So, but no, actuaries is really popular. I know at least the second years this year, like most of them wanted to become actuaries.
Maybe you can go into finance or economics, but that's usually someone who with a more business related degree, like you said. Or you could get into like actuarial sciences and do higher education, in which case you can become an accountant, or you can like expand into finance or other business related fields if you do higher education. But okay, or statistician. I see. Cool. So then, becoming a high school teacher, when you go to teachers college, like what do you think that's going to be like? Do you have any like, what's the word, foresight?
So the stream I'm going into is the junior intermediate stream. So once I complete my bachelor's of education, I'll be able to teach from grades 4 till 10. My practicum.
Junior education. Wait, what does the junior intermediate mean?
So junior intermediate is just how they group grades. So I believe primary junior is like it's JK to some kind of to another level, and then they usually overlap. Then JI is grades 4 to grade 10, and then IS is from grade 7 to 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
okay. So like a teacher who teaches 10th grade may not necessarily be qualified to teach 12th grade. I thought when you went to teachers college, you basically learned all the math or whatever topic you needed to be able to teach up to like all of high school.
Yeah, so I mean, I wish I could just get one and just be able to teach all of them.
Yeah.
But my plan is after I complete this one to go back and be able to teach from K to 12, so I have a lot more opportunity.
Oh, wait, so you mentioned that you were doing junior intermediate, but didn't you say that was at grade 10?
Yeah, so and for JI, how it works at our university anyway is your practicum is in elementary school, just because that's where most of the grades lie in that section. So, and I've heard that usually if you want to teach in a high school, you need the IS certification. They like that better than having a JI. And if you want to teach in elementary, they like when you have a PJ better than a JI.
Oh.
JI is the middle ground. So to get in, you only need one teachable.
Oh, so you're planning to go back and like complete the other grades?
Yes, I think it's just online courses. I think they're called AQs, additional qualifications. You take them online, and then you can get certified. I think that's how it works.
You start off being like, I want to teach all of them, and just design your program that way. Yeah.
It would also be a lot of curriculum to go through, right? You'd have to read over all of this curriculum. Plus, teachers college used to just be 1 year.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you, how long is it now?
It's 2 years now.
Okay.
And I think it started 2 years when we were in high school still.
I mean, extending a program, like doubling the length of the program, they must have added quite a bit.
Yeah, I've heard, I mean, I haven't taken any courses yet, so I don't know anything.
How long would it take you to go back and finish all the other grades? So teaching from K to 12, how long do you think everything would take you?
So you can, I think, in order to get an AQ, I think, yeah, to do an AQ, you have to be employed first. So I have to get a job at a board.
What is
and
AQ?
then AQ's additional qualification. So I can get additional qualification to teach chemistry, and I learned how to, what I need to know to teach chemistry, something like that. But I believe you have to be employed first by a school board, and then you can take all these courses. And I've heard to just, I've gotten the advice to just take as many as I can and have, be well versed.
Oh, so it's usually they usually don't let you take the additional grades you want to teach. They don't let you get those qualifications until you get a job with a school board.
I believe so. I think.
Well,
I know for teachables for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe for the other qualification, to get a PJ or an IS, you don't have to. But I know for teachable, you have to be employed to get at a board.
Well, I mean, for okay, but you only need teachables for high school. You need to be able to teach at least 2 courses.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I see. Okay. So I wanted to ask you a question. If you were to go 10 years in the future and if I were to visit your classroom where you're teaching 10 years in the future and take a photo, what would I see in that photo?
Well, in 10 years, I hope to be steady, to be at one school. I hope, right now I hope to be in a high school, teaching specifically grade 10 math, a space that's inviting and, I don't know, a great atmosphere for students.
So Andrea, was there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners?
What do people usually share at the end?
Just if somebody was planning to go down this route, what would you tell them? And what do you think would be helpful for them to know? Just leaving a parting message.
Okay. I would say that believe it or not, that anyone's capable of doing math. Whether it comes really easy to you or you have to work at it, just know that you'll get it at one point and you'll understand it at one point. And if you're a girl and you want to go into math, do it. Being a girl in math is,
what's the ratio of boys to girls?
Oh my gosh. It 90% male, at least. That's why whenever I hear girls going into math, I was saying girls going into women, girls going into math, or just girls going into anything STEM, it's so nice because it's so male dominated, and women have a lot to offer in STEM. I would just say just to try it out and make sure you do something that you really like and that you'll enjoy. And maybe it might take you a long time to figure out what it is, but you'll figure it out.
Yeah, everyone has their one thing that they're good at.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that you'll make a great teacher.
Well, thank you.
So that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning into today's episode, and we'll see you next time.